This is Providence Television International, the game changer.
This is the week in review on Providence Television International. You are welcome. I am Ugbebo Ikekwa. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited on Monday reduced the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, sold at its stations to 860 naira per litre. The company stations in Lagos adjusted their pumps to 860 naira on Monday, down from 945 naira. This comes a few days after Dangote Refinery reduced its depot petrol price from 890 naira to 825 naira per litre. The Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan will challenge in court the 6-month suspension slammed on her following her face-off with the Senate President Godswill Akpabio over sitting arrangements in the Red Chamber. On Thursday, the Kogi lawmaker was suspended by the Senate and walked out from the National Assembly complex. The Nigerian Bar Association strongly berated the Senate for not giving Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan ample time to present her sexual harassment complaint against Akpabio. Her legal counsel, Victor Giwa, dismissed the resolution, stating that the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges acted in violation of a court order that allegedly restrained it from taking further action on the matter, pending the determination of a motion on notice. He further expressed disappointment that the committee disobeyed a valid court order that was served on them, making a mockery of the chamber that is supposed to uphold the law. In a bold step to ensure the safety of its citizens and curb criminal activities, the Edo State government on Wednesday began demolition of houses linked to kidnappers. Leading security personnel on the demolition that took place in Ile and Uromi, the special advisor to the governor on security, Akiri Paul, stated that the exercise was in accordance with the law. He called on landlords to ensure proper profiling of their tenants before subletting their properties, stressing that the Senator Monday Okpewulu-led administration will not tolerate any house or establishment used as a hideout for criminal activities. According to the new law on kidnapping recently passed by the Edo State House of Assembly, any house found being used for kidnapping activities will be demolished. A renowned Nigerian novelist and writer, Mabel Shegun, has passed on at the age of 95. Dr. Emmanuel Egariva tells us more.
Mabel Shegun, also a notable broadcaster and diplomat, died in the early hours of Thursday, the 6th of March, 2025. Born on February 18, 1930, she was a true pioneer, breaking barriers throughout her illustrious career. The distinguished novelist graduated from the University College Ibadan, now the University of Ibadan, in 1953 with a degree in English literature, Latin, and history. She was also a frontline member of the African Writers series. Born in Ondo City in southwest Nigeria, her parents, Reverend Isaiah and Eunice Aigi Mokwede, hailed from Sabongida Ora in Edo State. Her stories and poems have been published in over 30 anthologies across the world and translated into German, Danish, Norwegian, Greek, and Swahili. Meanwhile, it will be recalled that a fortnight ago, Nigeria lost another iconic figure, Mrs. Nike Agbaje Williams, who passed on at the age of 88. The late Mrs. Agbaje Williams made history as the first African face to appear on television during the test transmission and the official commissioning of the Western Nigeria Television WNTV on October 31st, 1959. The management and staff of Providence Television International wish Mabel and Nike a sweet repose in the heavenly place.
The World Bank has adopted the Edo Basic Education Sector Transformation Edobest program, an education reform initiative of the former governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, as a model for educational development in low-income countries, acknowledging the significant impact the program has had in revolutionizing Edo's basic education sector since its launch in 2018. The program was designed to improve learning outcomes, enhance teacher training, and integrate technology into the education sector, and has continued to receive widespread acclaim for its innovative approach, which has led to remarkable improvements in literacy among public school pupils in the state. At least 400,000 children in public schools across the state benefited, while the government trained 20,000 teachers in digital skills and classroom management, distributed 15,000 tablets, 7 million exam materials, and 1.5 million textbooks across various schools in Edo State under the program. Already, Bayelsa, Kwara, and Lagos states have adopted the Obaseki-led Edobest program. Wednesday, 5th March was Ash Wednesday, marking the beginning of Lent, a 40-day period of prayer, fasting, and repentance leading up to Easter. Mostly observed by Catholics, Anglicans, and Lutherans, Ash Wednesday is traditionally marked with fasting, abstinence from meat, and the imposition of ashes on the forehead. In his message for Lent 2025, Pope Francis emphasized the importance of living one's life as a constant journey of conversion, choosing to walk in peace and hope aside one's fellow humans. The pontiff encouraged Catholics to avoid self-absorption, oppression, envy, and hypocrisy, stressing that the call to hope and trust in God is an important aspect of the Lenten conversion. He further stated that all Catholic faithful should be attentive to one another in love and patience. Highlighting the significance of Lent, Catholic priest and lecturer at the Catholic Institute of West Africa, Reverend Father Dr. Hulegbe Osematie, stated that it is a period to renew baptismal promises and deepen spiritual discipline. He urged Catholic faithful to embrace the corporal and spiritual works of mercy, especially towards the poor and suffering. Similarly, an Augustinian priest based in Kaduna, Reverend Father Moses Siyara, emphasized the need for Catholic faithful to practice self-denial, renewed prayer life, and simplicity through fasting and abstinence. Reverend Father Yara urged Catholics across the globe to reflect on their sins, seek forgiveness, and renew their commitment to faith. A U.S.-trained special educationist and visionary, Rose Louie, the Exceptional Students Academy, has called on the general public to desist from making children who need special care feel less human. She made the call during an interview session on the program Prime Movers on Providence Television International. Mrs. Isaac Aluyi emphasized that every individual has his or her own learning pace, hence the need for special education in favor of children who learn at a very slow pace. The special educationist admonished parents who conceal their children's need for special education, stressing that their inability to learn at a fast or normal pace is no fault of theirs.
What could take a child, a regular child,
Yes.
maybe 1 year to learn? It could take us 3 to 4 years. Yes. You see a child of 15, 16 has a mental ability of a 2-3-year-old child. So you have to take the child from
That's
the
common
scratch.
with those with Down syndrome?
No. Down syndrome, they are intelligent too. SLD, specific learning disability. But in America, we call it slow learning disability. So they are slow learners. Some of them can be very, when they talk, you think they know it all. But
Now, use this opportunity to advise parents.
okay.
Some parents are still keeping their children away because they believe that it's witchcraft or whatever it is.
No, it's nothing like
so
witchcraft.
use this
no.
opportunity to advise them.
We advise parents, I did before, to bring the children out. They're not bad luck. They're not, no witchcraft doing this. It could be jury labor, it could be something, It's just, you see them because they are fewer. That is why we say they are special. The regular children, they are more. These are fewer. So the fewer, the more special they are. Because they are fewer, there is not a thing you see on regular basis. Doesn't mean they are out of it. Bring them out. We can teach them something. Like we have a fish pond. Most of them know how to feed the fish, how to drain the water out of the pond and put in water. If that is what the child can learn, and have a small space for the child, that can even put food on his or her table. You understand what I mean? Some of them that can hear, that cannot talk, they can do sign language for a living. Just bring them to us. Rose Louie, Resa, we accommodate anybody.
Rose Louie Exceptional Students Academy, founded in 2015 by Mrs. Isaac Aluyi, is based in Benin City, Edo State, and provides special education by specially trained tutors to children who learn at a slower pace. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, CBCN, on Tuesday expressed deep concern over the recent declaration by northern governors to close schools for 5 weeks during the Ramadan period. In a press statement on Monday signed by the president of the CBCN, Lucius Iwejuru Goji, Archbishop of Owerri, the CBCN disclosed that the closure of schools during the Ramadan period undermines the rights and jeopardizes the education and future of millions of Nigerian children. Citing Section 10 of the Nigerian Constitution, which states that the government of the Federation or of any state shall not adopt any religion as state religion, the bishops stressed that the action of the northern governors is a breach of the rights of citizens, noting that the closure affects Christian students and Christian-owned schools. They called on the federal government to intervene and ensure that the rights of all Nigerians, regardless of their faith or background, are protected. Meanwhile, Kebbi, Bauchi, and Kano state governments reaffirmed that the holiday granted to both primary and secondary schools in their states for Ramadan fast will not be reconsidered, despite concerns raised by the Christian Association of Nigeria. The chief press secretary to the Kebbi State Governor, Ahmed Idris, stated that the decision was made after consulting all relevant stakeholders, including religious leaders and parents, stressing that the decision will not be reversed. It is worthy of note that CAN, in a statement issued in Kaduna through the Northern CAN chairman, Reverend John Joseph Hayab, expressed concerns that the closures will negatively impact students preparing for crucial examinations. Reverend Hayab further noted that even in predominantly Islamic countries such as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, schools remain open during Ramadan. He called on northern governors to reduce school hours, allowing students and teachers time to observe fasting without compromising education. The Super Falcons are removed in the latest rankings released on Thursday, retaining their status as Africa's best women's football team and the 36th in the world. The inactivity of the 9-time African champions between December and March didn't affect their position on the continent and on the global stage, even as their African rivals dropped a few paces. Reigning WAFCON champions South Africa are second in Africa behind Nigeria and 18 places below Nigeria globally after dropping their 4 spots in the global rankings to 54th position. The latest rankings come a few months before the 2024 WAFCON tournament, which will be played from July 25th to 26th in Morocco. The Flying Eagles will resume camping in Abuja on Monday, March 10th, ahead of their preparations for the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. The 7-time African champions are currently on a short break following their 2-match tour of Ivory Coast last week. Players and officials were given 9 days off after arriving from Abidjan on Saturday evening. Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa has earned a recall to the national team for Nigeria's crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and Zimbabwe, marking his return after years of absence. Musa last featured for the Super Eagles before their silver-winning campaign at the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations. The squad also sees the return of Remo Stars goalkeeper Kayode Bankole and Southampton forward Paul Onuachu as Nigeria looks to revive its qualification hopes. The Super Eagles, currently 5th in Group C, will take on Rwanda in Kigali on March 21st before hosting Zimbabwe in Uyo on March 25th. Tributes have been pouring in from top athletes, officials and stakeholders following the death of former national athletics coach Harrison Momo, who passed on last Saturday in Ilorin, Kwara State. In his condolence message, President of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, Chief Tonobok Okowa, stated that Coach Momo will be fondly remembered as the coach who set the pace for the development of Nigerian athletics. His dedication to the sport was selfless, unmatched, and his work ethic was tireless. Coach Momo discovered and groomed numerous Nigerian elite athletes during the golden era of Nigerian track and field, and at various times coached the Nigerian team at the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, and Africa Games. Some of the Olympians he nurtured include the late Sunday Bada, Olakbade Adenikon, Olu Sule, Taiwo and Kehinde Aladefa, Bisi Afolabi, among others. 4 years after the death of Argentinian football legend Diego Maradona, 7 healthcare professionals will go on trial accused of negligence during his final days. More than 100 witnesses, including members of Maradona's family and doctors who tended to him over the years, will take the stand over the course of the 4-month trial, which starts on Tuesday in Buenos Aires. The 7 defendants risk between 8 and 25 years in jail if convicted. Diego Armando Maradona died on November 25, 2020 at the age of 60 while recovering from brain surgery for a blood clot after decades of battling cocaine and alcohol addictions. The United Nations Children's Fund, in a report published on Tuesday, disclosed that children in war-ravaged Sudan, some as young as a year old, have been raped since the beginning of 2024. The agency stated that at least 221 children, including boys, were raped by armed men, and of these cases, 66% of the survivors were girls. There were 16 survivors below the age of 5, including 4 who were as young as 1 year. The war in Sudan broke out in April 2023 between the military and its rival paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, with battles in the capital, Khartoum, and around the country. Over 20,000 people have died, with more than 14 million people rendered homeless. Several Arab nations and rights organizations have condemned Israel's decision to halt aid deliveries to the Gaza Strip, calling it a blatant violation of the ceasefire agreement and international law by using starvation as a weapon. Israel blocked the entry of aid shipments to Gaza on Sunday, as after the first phase of its ceasefire deal with the Palestinian group Hamas expired, raising fears of hunger and more hardship during the holy month of Ramadan that began over the weekend. Egypt and Qatar, mediators in the talks between Hamas and Israel, as well as Saudi Arabia and Jordan, released statements criticizing the Israeli move to block food, medicine, and fuel into the Strip. The blockade of aid to the Gaza Strip announced by Israel last week risks violating international humanitarian law. In a joint statement published on Wednesday, the foreign ministers of the United Kingdom, France, and Germany called on the government of Israel to abide by its international obligations, ensuring full, rapid, safe, and unhindered provision of humanitarian assistance to the population in Gaza. Israel blocked the entry of aid shipments to Gaza on Sunday, as after the first phase of its ceasefire deal with the Palestinian group Hamas expired, raising fears of hunger and more hardships during the holy month of Ramadan. And now to the exchange rates. $1 is equivalent in naira now stands at 1,554 naira, €1 1,684 naira, 1 British pound to 2008, and 1 Canadian dollar is equivalent in naira 1,081 naira. And that's it on the week in review on Providence Television International. Thanks for watching. Please stay tuned.